Hey guys, what's up? Rbd here and welcome back to another exciting visual effect tutorial. In today's video, we are going to focus on object tracking, and don't afraid of it, because in the beginning I was afraid like how to do, what to do and all stuff. But when I started working on this process is very simple, easy to understand, and once you done one time you will be master, believe me, because I will share a very easy way to do this. So without any more delay, let's get started this amazing tutorial. And we will not only do the object tracking, we will also place something really cool, and we will do some physics simulation, which will be a fun part to watch. So don't skip this video, watch till the end. Promotional stuff is our modern VFX course, so if you are interested in CGI and VFX, don't forget to check it. It is an amazing course because you have this mentor which will help you all the time if you're stuck anywhere, and definitely I will add more chapters in the future, so don't forget to check. All these things will be in my video description. So we have these files. Here you can see our video footage which I have shot into my working space, and this is the ground texture which we will use, and this is the 3D model which I downloaded from Sketchfab. The link will be in description. And if you want all these along with the project file, it will be available on my Patreon page and on the Gumroad page, so you can check that too. This is Blender 4.5 and I'll delete everything. It's a good thing to start with PNG sequence, but I have a video, so I'm going to use the video. So here I'll go to this plus icon and go to the VFX and choose motion tracking. So this workspace will be transformed. Here I'll simply open this folder and simply drag and drop this video here. Our color has been a bit different, so I will go here and go to the color management and change this to the standard. This is back, and go to the output properties and change the resolution to the size of your video, 30. Click on prefetch and set scene frame. It will load this video into the Blender memory and it will set the end frame. In the camera tracking, we basically track our scene camera and create a 3D moving camera, but in the object tracking we track the moving object, so we can get the information of that movement. So here I will go to this track panel, reveal this object and click on this plus, and this will set as object. You can rename it phone, and that's it. You are ready to move for the object tracking. I'll simply zoom a bit, and here I will do a couple of things very quickly. Motion model, I will choose the perspective. Match, I will choose previous frame, and I will enable normalize. And in the tracking setting extra, I will change the correlation to maybe 0.888 3 times, and in the margin I will press 225 pixels. Now let's click on this detect feature, and you will notice it's only focusing on these area. So here I will open this dialog panel, and in the margin maybe I'll just make it 25 over here or 35. Basically it will leave the corners, but since we are focusing in the middle area, this will not play a much role, but these two settings will play a big difference. So here I want to increase the marker, so I'll just make it 55. I just keep it like 20, and I can also play with the threshold, so I'll just make it 0.1. Perfect. If I'll zoom a bit, I don't want to track these things. Simply press C for the circle selection and select these which I don't want to include in tracking, and then I press ESC and delete these markers. Press A to select everything and just click here, and it will track the markers forward. And if you closely observe in this scene, our camera is not moving, our only object is moving. Okay, once you reach at the end, I'll simply press A and press H to hide it, and I'll click again detect feature. I'll simply remove markers which I don't need, and then I'll press ESC and delete. Press A to select everything and track backward, and it will track this backward. So this is almost pretty much it, but I will do one more time. So we have a bunch of markers. Press A and press H to hide it. Go to the 120. I'll simply click detect feature one more time, delete, and maybe I can zoom, press Ctrl and click, so it will add one more marker over here. Press A to select everything and press track forward, so it will track it forward. Come back to 120 and just track it backward. Okay, once you are done, press Alt H to unhide, and you can see in the graph already we have a very nice pattern going on, so it means we have good tracking going on. So let's go to the solve panel. So I will click on the solve, and we get already 1.8 84, which is absolutely amazing. Go to the cleanup, and here is an option called clean track. So if I'll click, I can write here the error, and basically we are selecting the errors which is around 2 pixels or maybe 3 pixels. So you can see we are selecting only those. So I'll press 3 and delete and solve camera motion one more time. Go with the 2 and just delete, solve camera motion. And guys, I have one more thing which I do sometimes. So if I'll go to the camera, this is the lens. So right now this focal length is 24, but in case if you want to tweak this focal length, this solver can go down and can go up also. So let's go with the 35 and let's check. So you can see we are 0.61, which is a very nice camera solve. So now let's go to the clean tracks one more time and click on this one. So now we are selecting 1 pixel error, and I'll delete, and one more time camera solve. So let's go a bit maybe down 9.8 and hope will be under 0.5. Okay, now so we are under 0.5, and I hope we can move forward. So once you are done with these things, you can just go down and here just click on setup tracking scene, and let's go back to the layout. So if I'll go to the camera view, this is something totally different. So what I will do first, this is in a layer. So I'll go to the background and just remove this. Now we are in the foreground. So except camera, I will just delete the rest of the things. So delete and delete it. Okay, so now we have only camera because we only need the camera. And if I'll go here to the overlay panel and enable motion tracking, now you can see all the markers. And if I'll reduce the size, now you can see, and this is really nice. Okay, so let's create our 3D scene and let's do some rigid body magic. So first thing is alignment. So I will simply move our camera close to the world origin. I press 3, press 7. I can also rotate this as, so just move it like this. So this is pretty much okay. If I'll go once again on the overlay, I can increase the size and notice this. Once you reach over here, it's time to create a plane. So simply press Shift A and create a plane. So since we align our scene in a way, so it's center of the world origin. So if you'll create anything, it will be easy for us. So here if you enable X-ray vision, I can just scale this down, just scale it quickly. We are able to align our scene. So if you'll play, it will not stick. So the next step is I can select this plane and go to the constraint, and here I will use the object solver, and I will choose the object our phone and camera to camera. And if you click on set inverse, it will get back to the original place with the perfect motion. Okay, so the next step is I can go to the edit mode and just align it a bit better way. So, and then I can go to the modifier tab and use a modifier called subdivision surface, because I want to create this curve. So here I'll just make it 2, maybe 3, and then I will go to the edit mode and press Ctrl R to create edge loop, and I'll just draw this, and same for this way, somewhere around here. Press Ctrl R and add edge loop in the middle, and then I can create one more for this corner. So you can see maybe somewhere around here and one for the here, and still this is not shaping that actual curve. So I can select this and just move it up and down to check these things and modify this. So I'll just move it over here, select this GXX 2 times. I am pressing Alt and click to select all the loop. If necessary, I can create one more, and I can go here and check. And I'm also noticing this is a bit like tilted in a bit tilted, so I can press N, rotate it a bit like this way. So you can definitely spend a couple of more time to adjust it. I can select these boundaries and just extend it a bit like this, because we're going to create the hole. You can see it's pretty much nice. You can spend more time, and you can definitely achieve a better result. Okay, so now it's time to create the hole. So I'll select the plane, and let me rename this to the phone and base. Shift D to duplicate and hide the phone base, and select this one and apply this modifier, subdivision surface modifier, or just leave it for now. What I can do, I can select this edge. So I will simply press Alt and click on this edge, so it will select the loop. I'll shift D and F3 and separate by selection. So this way we separated this only edge part. Okay, and rename this to the edge. I'll go to the edit mode. I will hide this phone base, go to the edge, and I can select this, press EZ, and just make it down. How much space you want, so I can just move that much space down like that. And then if I want, I can press ES and I can just scale it down like this way. So the reason I'm doing it, because now with the subdivision surface modifier we are getting this soft boundaries or soft corners. This is really helpful. And then at last I can press F to fill this. So now we created a perfect base, and click Shade Auto Smooth. This is really nice. So now you will not able to see, so disable this X-ray mode and maybe enable this cavity, and if necessary enable this wireframe. Down the opacity a bit. So now you can see we have a perfect holder going on over here. One thing I can notice, I am able to see all these edge, which is not good. I will simply create a holdout. To create the holdout, I can select this edge one more time, this one, and press Shift D to duplicate and F3 and separate by selection. So here go to the object mode, and this is the extra edge, so this will be holdout. Control A and apply the scale. Set origin to the mass of surface, and then go to the edit mode one more time. Select that edge and go to the extrude panel and choose extrude along normal, and then extrude it like this way. So basically create a space which is higher than our actual phone, and I can simply select this and move this into a new collection called holdout, and rest of the things, this is, let's move this all three to a new comp called phone 3D. And this camera should be a new collection called camera. So we organized our scene. Let's select this holdout collection, and if you go to the filters, enable this holdout icon. And now in the holdout collection I will just enable this. So now you will not able to see here, but let me go to the rendered mode and enable the ray tracing, and also enable this transparent. And now if I enable this holdout, you can see we are perfectly cut out that space, and this is really nice because it is based on our already our object solver is applied on that space, so we don't have to do masking and all stuff. Here is a few things, like here you can see something is not nice. The reason I realized why it happened, because let's suppose if whenever you track an object, so this is an object, nice. So if I'm moving statically, like I'm not moving this object like this way, or maybe if it is on my forefinger, if you down these last fingers and up this way, and basically do some kind of a movement which is not like a static, it feels like it is organic. On that scenario, the object tracker may be a bit confused and we get this error. And the second issue is maybe because of the focal length. So the thing which you can do to fix it, you can simply scale this font size a bit more. I'll simply, here I can go to the scene world and enable it, so now you can, and also disable this motion tracking. So you can see we are getting something really nice. I'll select this camera and also make it opacity 100%. I can go to the modifier, and first let me select this edge and Shift D to duplicate and keep it as a backup. I'll select the first one and apply this, and I can go to the 7 and basically press 3 and select these loops, and after that I can press C and select all these faces. So basically I selected these part and go to the material and click new, and this will be ground. Assign. Press Ctrl I to invert the selection and place on this plus icon new, and this will be our banner or maybe wall, and assign. So now we have a two different material. Select the ground and just make it green so we can see this. I will go to the shader editor, and here on the ground I will simply add our ground texture and plug this into the base color. Press Ctrl. Did we missed something? So I will select these parts again, and then I'll press Ctrl T and go here, and I can press tab to go inside the edit mode. Select this ground part and press U and choose project from view. So now you can see we projected that here, but I'll go to the UV editing tab here and press 7 one more time, check, and press A and just scale it. Here I will make it a rendered mode so we can focus here. Go to the camera view, press SX. Okay, so here is the thing. So I guess this is creating some weird issues in texturing. The easier solution I think can be if we can create another plane and just place it here and with a round shape. So this is a I guess nice trick to use it. So I'll simply, we have I guess the phone base, this one, and I can simply duplicate this and let me just put it down, scale it until it's fully cover this. Okay, nice. So here you can notice we have this perfect plane going on. If I'll disable this subdivision, it can also work, no issues going on over here. So I can select this phone base. So I have two options, either I can join them together or I can just leave it here and let's see. So I'll go to the shader editor and I can use the same ground material over here, and you can see we are getting a good control and apply the scale for this. Let's go to the timeline over here, go to the camera view and find a perfect frame like this one. Go to the edit mode, select this, press U and choose project from view and go to the UV editing tool, and here I can do that magic. So select these, press 1 for this vertex, SY0, same here SY0, select this SX0 and same SX0, A and choose follow active chord. So now all are straight and I can scale it like this way. I can press SX. Okay, so this is also reversed, RY90. So now this is looking nice. If you feel any part is a bit stretched, you can just play with this other part, this wall. And for this, what I can do, I can use a simple solid green color like this and just make it like roughness high, and we just make it a bit darker. And we can use this as a ground, but I have a different thing for this texture over here, and plug this, Ctrl T and just use as an object. Maybe let's tap to go inside the edit mode, select this U and choose cube projection, and here I can just play with the scale. Let's leave this below part, I guess that will be nice because we are having some issues in the texturing. So and press Ctrl I for these faces, and here I'll just click new and this will be grasses. So we'll use simple blue type of this type of stuff, and maybe you can use some noise. So here I can use the noise texture and just add a color ramp. For the brightest part I will use this brightest part of this image, and for the darkest you can choose which you feel like this is the darkest. So yeah, this is looking nice. I can play with the scale and etc stuff. So for now we will go with this, and later we can spend more time and just do something else, like I can just make it metallic down the roughness, something like this, or just make it black, anything which we want we can just do it. So here let's down the texture a bit, like maybe these legends, and you can just down the scale a bit, just keep it like this, so you can see. Or if you don't want to show their face, just show the jersey number. Okay, so it's time for the simulation, guys. The simulation. Okay, for that, let me import the 3D model. So I'll go to the file, import, and GLTF. And I downloaded a couple of versions like GLTF version and 2GLB file. And both contain a different kind of a texture. This one has 1K texture and this has 4K. And you can see the size. So I will use 1K version because the scene is very tiny, so the detail will not be much visible. So for that we'll go to the 1K so we can save some memory, GLB, and just import the file. Okay, so this is already in a holdout collection, I guess. Press M and move this into a new collection called ball, and yeah, let's play and see straight. Okay, so this is not behaving like that. I have two options. Either I can just apply the object solver constraint and set inverse, and this will be here. So you can see, wow, this is looking really cool. So straightforward, your artwork is done, but we'll do something more amazing. So let me make our space in a way which looks more nice. So first thing first, if I'll go here into the overlay panel and statics, if I'll go to the edit mode, select this edit mode, we have these much of like 8400 something vertices. Select this and select hierarchy, Alt P, and choose clear and keep transformation. And here I'll just delete all this null. So we have this ball. Press tab to go inside the edit mode, and first I'll press 1 for the vertex selection and press F3, triangulate to quad. So we have some simple stuff. I can also press F3 and choose merge by distance, and here you can see we have this much. So I can go one step more down. Two is nice. Okay, so how to make it like a 3D ball? So I'll press S and scale it down. First apply the scale and make it to the surface, origin to the surface, and just move it somewhere around here, something like this. And if I'll play, since I removed the constraint, now it's not moving. And my goal was to add the simulation, rename this to the ball. So I will go to the physics properties and enable rigid body and just keep it as a active, and this collision shape as a convex hull. I will select this plane and I can just make it rigid body and just make it passive and just make it mesh. And same I will do for this as well as. So rigid body and just make it passive and just make it mesh. But the issue is the system don't know if it's moving or not. So I will select this and just make it animated for both. So just here you can see this is nice. But here you can see the connection between these two are not that much nice because this is not interacting. So for that, go to the surface response, and here you can play with the friction, but in the sensitivity I'll just keep it 0.001, and same for this 0.001 or 2, something like that. And I'll select this and for this as well as. So now you can see the movement is much more nice. I love this. So I can simply Shift D and just duplicate and start placing these balls, and I can select all these, Shift D to duplicate. If you want to scale it down, you can just do it, but don't forget to apply the scale. If I'll go to the first frame and just play, definitely it will take much time to simulate and play because we are doing physics simulation, and also with a heavier mesh, because each object has 4000 or 8000 4000 faces and 8000 triangles. So, and here you can see this is almost going to upward, so I can add one more top thing on the screen, so it will keep them under the phone if we want. So you can focus. So here you can see, wow, this is really nice. Okay, so they are falling. So to prevent the falling, we have to add something on top. So if I'll go back to our phone 3D, we have a phone base which we created earlier. Here you can see. First thing first, these balls are a bit on the top side, so I'll select these balls and just move them down And if I will notice the scale is a issue, I can apply, just down the scale, and I can reapply that. Okay, so this is nice. I will select this top face, phone base. I'll just duplicate one more time. So we have still the base backup is gone. So here I'll use the screen, and for the screen I will also use the rigid body and just make it passive animated, and I'll choose maybe the box, or I can use the mesh and just down this margin. And for here you can see the screen is totally white, so I'll create a new material and this will be screen. And here I will use the screen texture and plug this as a base color. But I want to remove the black part from this. So for that I will simply use a mix shader node, and I'll mix with a transparent BSDF. So already this is looking nice, but we need a factor or a mask which help us to do this clearly. So I can simply plug this color into this factor, but I will also add a color ramp node in between, so I can play with these, just reverse this. So now you can see we are done. But in any case, if you feel something is off, you can just change these things over here. So this is for this, so it will act like this will hold that balls inside the room, and it will also be a screen. And also I can select the ground, just down part, and I will select this grass, and let's use something else like this, so it has color and all stuff. And maybe I'm not sure, but let's try some more color. So shift D to duplicate this color ramp, and maybe this time I will use some blue, something like this looks really nice. And I have a couple of things which we can do still, like we can create lights, or I have option, either I can select the wall layer, and in the emission tab I can use that same color and just make the strength 1. So this will be like a LED. So this has some emission which will reflect here. And let's go here and disable this scene word, so you can totally see what's going on. We should use a 360 environment here, so I can go to the world setting and I can do it. But here I'll simply boost this, just down this to the 1 maybe, or maybe 0. So creativity is on your mind, you can do anything. The base start is here. I can definitely use a 360 environment map. I don't have the right one, so I will use the wrong one. So let's bake this. So I'll go to the scene property, rigid body world, and here I can play with the speed and also this sub steps. So this, let's bake and let's check. So go to the cache and just bake all dynamics and wait for it. Alright, so we have just finished baking. You can see this is really nice. Let's go to the cycles. This is the look in cycles. Here you can see that that is more glowing, so I can just refine that, just down the metallic, or just increase the roughness a bit. And also I can just make that part a bit darker. Yeah, this looks nice. So this is the end time final last tweaks. This is really nice. And I can select the balls, just double tap and select the ball in the base color. If I want, I can just add a hue and saturation node and just make the value 2 and just down the saturation, or just, yeah, so this is nice. I can just make the samples 256 for the rendering, and the rest of the things are really nice, I guess. So yeah, once you are ready, you can just simply go to the output properties, and here you can select the location and the format which you want, and you can just do it. And if you want to be more creative, you can go to the compositing and set up all this node. Yeah, so this is really necessary. What I'll do is simply delete all these things, because we don't need these things actually. And I can use a file output node, and if you want to export anything like the ambient occlusion, just keep it and go to the node and here change the formats and all the other stuff which you want. Let's go here and just choose AU. This is the way where like how you can export it, all the passes, and you can be a bit creative. Otherwise you can simply just set up your things over here, and this is the it. Like this is it. If you want, you can just add more and more and more stuff, definitely. So for me this is really nice. Let me be a creative man. Let's select this, solo this, put the edit mode, and maybe I can select only this edge. I'm not sure if it will look nice or not, but let's apply a new material over here on this, and here I can use emission. So just boost it maybe, or just add a blue, something like this, you can see. Or I can simply, and same thing I can do on top of here as well, as if I want. Alright guys, definitely if I'll spend more time I can create something more in this artwork. I can make these balls more tiny and I can just watch all the time. So I hope this was an amazing tutorial. You learned something from this. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for loving me. I am Rbd, and I will see you next time with an amazing tutorial. Until then, keep working, keep smiling, and don't forget to check out this amazing project file on my Patreon and Gumroad page. Bye bye and take care guys.